So welcome. And I'll start off with the brachah. So Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
And what has happened, of course, is we've been able to get through the Rashi on this first parsha. We're starting the Torah once over with Parshat Bereshit. And so the question becomes now what we would like to do in this, in the time that we have with one another. And so there's a possibility of us actually looking at Torah Temimah now. It is a lot more complicated, dare I say, and certainly challenging for me as well. But I did take a look at the first Torah Temimah, and there are some really interesting things that he has to say about this first comment. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and share that particular screen with you. Here's the story. Let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, so we can, give me 1 second here. We can take a look at the text that I have been using in the past, but there also is the Sefaria has a more clearly printed version of it, which you may prefer. Let me show you what I have here, and in fact, let me see if I can sometimes you're able to, let's see if I can do this. Okay. So this is the original text that I've been using. As you can see, it's kind of blotchy and stuff like that. And of course, the print is in the Rashi here. And this, let me see if I got this. Okay, this is not what I want, actually. This is a translation. So I'm gonna have to go back, forgive me. There's a translation in Sefaria of something called the Essential Torah Temimah. I'm sorry, it's actually something else that I found online. Let me go back, please. Sorry about taking all the time doing this. Let's see here. I have to do this and this. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, this hopefully is going to work now. Okay, so there's this and there's this. Okay, this is the version that you are looking at. And let me move it over just a little bit. And then I hope to be able to see if this is, nope. And it's not what I want. Let's see if this will work. Nope. Forgive me, I'm having technical difficulties here, interestingly enough. All right, so this, can you see the Sefaria version? This is the Sefaria version, which I think you can see now. Is that correct? Tell me if you can.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see that it's a lot clearer. And let's see if I can. So we can just go ahead and do it. I mean, in some ways, I love the older version, but here we go. So the first verse, of course, is Bereshit bara. Let's go back here. I can find it. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay. Interesting. Here we are. Okay. So of course it says Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, right? I mean, it tells us that. And trying to see what I can do to get the other one. Here, let's try there. Okay. What do you see here, by the way? There we go. All right. So this is the verse. Let's just at least take a look at that, right? Bereshit bara Elohim. And we said that the Bereshit actually means in the beginning of. Bara Elohim, God's creating. In the beginning of God's creating. Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, right?
It looks like, Bereshit and Bara begin with the same 3 letters, but I don't know if they have similar roots because the other one didn't have this.
No. So I'll explain that in a second, but let me finish the sentence, right? Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, the heavens and the earth. So going back to the point you were making, Lauren, is that the head here is Rosh, and the ba is a utility letter that has to do with in or when something.
Oh, right, of course.
Bara, the root is beit resh aleph. So they have different roots here. Okay. So here's the Torah Temimah here, but you may in fact prefer the Torah Temimah that I have here. Let's see if I can get it. There we are. It's a lot clearer, clearly, right? And this is what he says. He quotes Rosh Hashanah, the tractate Rosh Hashanah, page 32a. And it says, Be'asara ma'amarot nivra ha'olam. With 10 words or 10 statements, the world was created. Let's see, and there's the footnote here. Let's hope I can get back to this. All right, that's what he says. Okay, here we go. Ritzonolomar. This is, of course, the way Torah Temimah is set up, is that he takes the source, right, from Rosh Hashanah, and very often he'll try and, if necessary, adapt the source a little bit so that the Hebrew is clearer, or he'll translate the Aramaic into Hebrew, right? And then he's got his own personal comments, his own footnotes on what he's saying, very often by way of explanation or a further development of the ideas that are mentioned in the source. So here he's saying, this is Baruch Halevi Epstein himself, right? Ritzono lomar. What's the point? He's trying to say, what does this really mean? Ba'asarat sivuyim. He means with 10 commands. Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of the Holy One, blessed be He, Nivra Olam, the world came into existence, Uvruim Shibor, and all those things that were created, all its creatures within it, Kedem Mefaresh, as will be explained. So that's that footnote there. So let's keep going. Hey Ninhu, what are they? In other words, what were these 10 commands, right? Vayomer shebe parsha bereshit. In other words, every time it says Vayomer Elohim, that is one of the ma'amarot. That's one of the statements, one of the commands. And let's see his footnote here, right? Vezehu sidran. So now he gives you what they are, right? In order. Vayomer Elohim yehi or. God said, "Let there be light." That's number one. Vayomer deyehi rakia, the vayomer that refers to let there be a firmament, right? And then he isn't going to keep repeating here, so that's number two. Yikavu hamayim, let the waters be gathered. That's number three. Tidshe haaretz, let the earth sprout grass. That's number four. Yehi me'orot, let there be luminaries. That's number five. Yishrutzu hamayim, let the waters swarm with the sea life. That's number six. I may have to 6. Totzeh haaretz desher, let the earth sprout forth grass. That's number 7. Naaseh adam, let us. There are actually 9, so I may have miscounted here. Let us make man. Okay, that's 8. Eselo ezer, I will make him a helpmate. So that's number 9. Umefaresh v'azil, and he goes on to explain Taha Einkan Rak Tishma, that he just said there were 10, and yet there are only 9 that are here, right? So that's the point. For Afalpi, and despite the fact, this is in the text itself, right? The original text itself, it says, and despite the fact Tahani Tishahovu, that in fact there are only 9 of these statements where it says Vayomer Elohim, right? Bereshit Nami Mamarhu. The very statement of Bereshit is also a statement of God. It was also a statement, dictive, and there's a proof of this in Psalm 33:6. B'devar Hashem Shamayim Nasu. It says, with the statement of God, the heavens were made. And there is a lot to say about this. Any questions before we move any further?
Yes. Right. You said that the 4th one was grass, and then that the 7th one was grass. So I'm assuming that the 7th one is more maybe plants and crops sort of thing, maybe, or more, or is it exactly the same word? I didn't get a chance to stare at that.
So, okay, so this is Tadsher and Desher, right? Rashi goes into I've never fully understood the point Rashi's making here, but it's as if he he says, like here, let the earth be fertile, even though deshe is a word that we use for grass, right? And then it says totsei haaretz deshe, right? So here, deshe is a noun. Here it's a verb. Okay, I hope you can see my little hand on the text. Okay.
Yeah.
So here it says,
so yeah, microbes and things like that doing the things that make that the ground
maybe
become ready to be
right,
grassy plants and stuff like that.
Right. In other words, the earth should be, would we say, arable, or something like that. Maybe arable is specifically farming, but the point is that the earth should be fertile, that it should come out. Okay. Although, so touch here is a verb, and here it says here it's a noun. It says let the earth bring forth, right? Come out with grass. So
thank you.
No, not at all. Not at all. Okay, let me just, sorry about this. Let's go back in here. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's take a look now. He's got major stuff to say about this. All right, because as you can see, it's not so simple, right? So he says, Nir'eh de kitzur lashonhu. He says, it appears that this statement we just read from the text is it's of an abbreviation. It's stated very, very tersely. V'tzarich lomar, and we need to say, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. We have to say that statement in the beginning of God's creating the heaven and the earth, nami b'ma'amarhu. It also had to be a ma'amar. It also had to be a statement. And of course, you know that I've translated the word amar as to think, but they don't want to move quite away from the spoken nature of saying, of something being said, that there's an implication of saying something out loud, as it were, that's different from thinking. And they don't want to go away from that entirely. And we'll see in what sense, okay, that somehow there was some vocalization taking place here. And what he wants to say is, the shamayim va'aretz, that when it came to the heaven and the earth, gam kein nivra'u, they also had to be created, right? Al pi tzivui ma'akadosh baruch hu, by means of a command of the Holy One, blessed be He. In other words, they also had to be something. So the whole, as it were, the whole shebang had to be also part of a divine command, and not just the subsequent things that got created. And you'll see. And as it states explicitly, Bidvar Hashem, it was through the Devar Hashem, it was through the spoken word, the spoken statement of God, Shamayim Nasu, the heavens were made. But Tzarichli Biur, and we need this explaining to do, right? We need an explanation. Lama lo kativ meforash amira me'akadosh baruch hu. So that begs a question. Why wasn't it stated? Why doesn't it say at the very beginning, Vayomeh Hashem? Why doesn't it say from that part about Bereshit bara me'akadosh baruch hu, that the Holy One, blessed be He, said this, Livri at shamayim va'aretz, the creation of the heaven and earth? Why doesn't it say that? Kamo leyeta hanivraim, just like it did with the remaining things that were created. He gives you one reference, the Maharsha. He says, check out the Maharsha. The Maharsha, I believe it's Shlomo Idels or something like that. And it is a lovely commentary. It's a significant commentary on the Talmud, on the Babylonian Talmud. Page by page, with interesting statements that he makes, both halachic and midrashic, where he gives really profound interpretations and explanations. So he says that's one place to look at. But I'm not gonna follow up a reference here. I want to look at right now Torah Temimah. I could obviously get buried in the various sources. Vayitachen lomar, and it would appear to say, it would seem reasonable to say, al pi ma de amar beyoma, based on what is said in another tractate. And here, of course, we are displaying Baruch Halevi Epstein's encyclopedic knowledge of all the rabbinic material that goes along with this, right? So in Tractate Yoma in the Babylonian Talmud, page 54b, the B side of the page, Ele toldot hashamayim v'haaretz behibaram, right? So it's this statement later on in chapter 2 of Genesis, where it says, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth, behibaram, when they were created, which in a way is the ending of chapter 1. Sorry, I just keep doing this. Forgive me. I don't know why it does that. Here we go. All right, let's go. Let's find the place. Okay. All right. Toldot hashamayim mishamayim. That is to say, there we go. The generations of the heavens were from the heavenly things. In other words, we're really saying, I believe, that all subsequent spiritual creations that exist in the world were made from the heavens, from what the heavens represent, nivra'u, mishamayim nivra'u, toldot ha'aretz, and with regards to the things that were subsequently generated by the earth, min ha'aretz nivra'u, they were created from the earth. And from this we can explain, right? It appears then to that the explanation would be al pi ma shekatav harambam, and again another source here, right? Based on what the Ramban Nachmanides stated, what he wrote, the parsha zo, regarding this parsha. We have the Ramban's commentary on the Torah, and apparently he writes here, zo de sham, parsha zo, referring to this section, this parsha, the shamayim va'aretz, that the heavens and the earth, hem hayesod v'hachomer, they are the foundation and the substance, l'chol hamitza ba'olam, for everything else that was created in the universe. So in other words, there's a unique quality to the heavens and the earth because everything else essentially came from them, from the heavens and the earth. Umehem nivrahu hakol, and from the heavens and the earth, everything else developed. Everything else was created. Ela asher bashamayim in ma'al, right? Only that we would say that those things that were from the heavens above, Yesodam Bashamayim, their foundation was in the heavens, Asher Ba'aretz Mitachet, and regarding physical things, right, everything in the earth below, Yesodam Ba'aretz, their foundation is found in the land, on the earth. Ulachein nikru hashamayim va'aretz, and for this reason, the heavens and the earth are called avot. They're called fathers, right? The term father. I think I can try and find a different translation for the word a principle, maybe, right? Principle. But erech kol hanivraim, in relationship to all that is created from them, of all that shehem toldotehem, because everything else is considered a tolda. And we're using this in the same sense that there are 39 principles of labor on Shabbat. There are 39 different essential categories of labor on Shabbat, and there are other things that are called toldot, which are called generations, which are related to these principal categories. So likewise, we are saying that the heavens and the earth are principal categories of creation, and that everything else in the world is basically generated by these particular principal categories. If you need me to, this is probably where I'm going to have to stop, but before I stop the recording, are there any points or questions that you'd like to share at this point before I go on? Okay, so I'm going to stop the share, and stop the recording.